Organic chemistry, topic name is resonance, and these are the learning outcomes. So we are going to understand the most important resonance contributor. So as we know, molecule exhibit resonance during organic reaction, and when we write the mechanism for the reaction, the best representation of reality can be depicted by using the resonance hybrid structure. But what happens is that the resonance hybrid structure does not show the electron pairs that are shared by resonance clearly. Okay, so the mechanism by resonance hybrid structure is unclear and confusing. So here the question arises that does we often use a single resonance contributor instead of the hybrid, then which one has to be used? Okay, from the resonating structure, which structure should we pick to show the best resonating contributor? Now let us try to understand how to compare the resonating structure in terms of their stability, and for this we should know some rules by which we can determine the most important resonating contributor. Now these rules are based on the assumption that had the resonance contributor actually existed, the most thermodynamically stable structure would have made more significant contributions to the resonance hybrid. So we have to see the most thermodynamically stable structure, and the factor which are responsible for this condition are the maximization of covalent bonding and minimization of charge. So any structure which will have maximum number of covalent bonding and minimize charge over the molecule, it will be thermodynamically very stable. Okay, so this is the first thing we have to look for. And uh, one point to be noted for resonance is that resonance increases the stability by increasing the bonding between the adjacent atom and by distributing charge over a greater number of atoms. So charge is not contributed, or we can say the charge is not confined over a single atom, it is distributed holistically over the molecule, okay, over each atom. Now let's see some important point to know the most significant resonating contributor. So first is that a neutral molecule is always more stable than a charged one, and this is a very obvious rule or obvious thing to be noted, because a charged molecule will always be less stable than a neutral one. Okay, because the resonating species have charge separation in them. Now second point is a species having maximum number of atom with full octet is more stable than others. Okay, now we have consider we have a molecule, and the atoms which are present in that molecule do not have full octets. Okay, if they have incomplete octet, then they are always tending to make their octet complete, so they will be less stable, right? They are always jumping or finding some other atom to fulfill their octet. So a species which have maximum number of atom with full octet will be more stable, and this preference gets priority over the other three rule for determining the most important resonance contributor, which we have studied earlier in the previous slides. Okay, here we have an example also. So we have resonating structure of CH2OH, which is an alcohol. Now the carbon of structure A has an open octet, but if we see the structure B, we can see that every atom in this structure have completed its octet. Okay, and their octets are full. So the contributor B is more important than contributor A. And although we can also see that in structure B, the oxygen, which is a electronegative atom, it is having a positive charge on it, but it should have a negative charge on it to become important contributor. But before this charge thing, we have to look for the full octates, and structure B is satisfying that condition. Okay, but if we were comparing structure B with some another kind of structure whose octates were also full, and also the electronegative atom had the negative charge on it, and electropositive atom had a positive charge on it, then that structure would be considered more important. But because we are comparing structure B with structure A whose octates are not full, then that's why we are considering structure B as more important contributor. Okay, now from this example we came to our third rule, which says that electronegative atoms having negative charge is more stable than having positive charge over them, and similarly electropositive atom having positive charge is more stable than having negative charge over them. Now, for example, out of C and D structure here, we have a ketone. So, D is more stable. Why? Because the oxygen which is showing in this structure, this is electronegative, right? And it is having a negative charge over it. Rather, if we see structure C here, the carbon, which is electropositive, is having negative charge on it. So if we compare both of the structure, then we will find that D is more stable according to this rule. Okay, so we have completed all the rules to check which is the most significant contributor. Now let's compare the stability of following resonating structure of formic acid. So we have four structures here. Now if we see the structure 1, it is the most stable. Why? Because it is the neutral one. Okay, and its octates are also complete. Neutral one, so octate will be completed. It is an obvious one. So now let's look to the second structure. Here, second structure is more stable than third and fourth, because the reason comes, it is not neutral, right? But its octates are completed. That's why it is more stable than third and fourth. Now let's compare the resonating structure 3 and 4. So out of these, third is more stable, because you can see that the electropositive carbon is having positive charge on it, and electronegative oxygen atom is having negative charge on it. But if we see structure 4, carbon is having negative charge, as even it is a electropositive carbon atom, and oxygen, which is a electronegative, it is having positive charge on it. So the overall stability order is like first, second, third and fourth. Now let's move to our objective questions of today's lecture. So first question is, what are the factors that increase the thermodynamic stability of resonance structure? Now option A and B both are correct, because they are saying about the maximization of covalent bond and minimization of charge. So C both is the correct answer. Second question is, choose the correct statement. Resonance increases stability by increasing dash. Now second and third answer is correct, because they are saying that the distribution of charge over the greater number of atom is important, and third option is saying that bonding should be between adjacent atom, whereas first option is saying that bonding between alternate atom, which is absolutely wrong. Okay, the bonding should be in adjacent atom. Now third question is, choose the correct statement. A is, a neutral molecule is more stable than a charged one. This is right, obviously, but in option B, it is saying that a species having minimum number of atom with full octet is more stable than other. There should be not minimum, it should be maximum. Then this option should be correct. But here the only option A is the correct one. So these are the topics which we have covered in this lecture. Thank you so much for watching the video.